Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the live stream on a Friday night with Ruth, Casey, Satoshi, and the beautiful Corpy. And we are the women of BSV. So we are holding this live stream tonight to go over what happened at the Dubai Global Blockchain Convention. And want to thank Kelvin for putting on the event. Thank Craig for being a marvelous keynote speaker. And we're going to discuss what went on, hopefully. So, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Casey. Good evening, Ruth. Good evening, Corpy. Good evening, Satoshi.
Evening.
Oh my goodness, that was loud. Loud and proud. So who would like to start with the magnificent happenings over the last 3 days and some amazing things that have been literally come out, especially being able to put all of Ethereum on the BSV blockchain? What do we think about that, guys?
Well, not just Ethereum.
Everything.
Every blockchain will be able to be run on the BSV blockchain. How phenomenal is that? I mean, seriously, how phenomenal is that?
I mean, it's a bit mind-blowing. But, I don't know whether you were throwing in my tweets as it was going on, but I was just mesmerized by the grin on Craig's face as he was delivering the news. I mean, I've never seen him look so self-satisfied in my life, and he's done some pretty good speeches where he's looked pretty smug, but this took the cake. No, he's obviously figured it all out, and he's very pleased with it. I mean, I wait with bated breath to see how it all pans out. I mean, what he seemed to be saying was that it was the permissionless nature of the blockchains that made it possible. But I don't think they're going to like it much. So we'll have to see how it all goes down. What do you reckon, Toshi?
Yeah, well, this again, I think just needs explaining more. So people think of Bitcoin, as a blockchain, but what you really need to be thinking about it is it's just a data network. It's literally like the internet, except the data goes through a process of blockchain to be uploaded. That's it. It's literally just a data network. It can do everything, literally everything. But people are just thinking, oh, well, you've got this chain that does that, and you've got, all these chains are speciality chains. This token does this and this token does that. It's just like, pardon my friend, it's all an absolute load of bollocks. Absolute bollocks. Seriously, so it's just a data network.
Swear on our show, Satoshi.
Yeah.
Is that a swear word?
I'm pretty sure we swear.
But yeah, this is very true. I mean, it's a data commodity network, isn't it? So
yes, that is a good word. That's a word that needs to be used a lot more. So when Craig was on stage giving it, I this and I that, I was thinking, maybe I might write to him and say, maybe try and use the word like inclusive, because commodity is the word like common. That's where it gets its name from. It's common to everyone. In fact, I'll break it down for you. It's common, item, and then the Y is identified. So it's common. So imagine like, coffee or water and an unlimited supply, but then you itemize it and then you identify it. So in other words, you have a unique part of it. That's the commodity. So you can then compare that to the value of other goods and services, and you can exchange it via a medium of exchange. So when he's using the word I mean, I know it's his system, but it would just sound better if he was just using words like, we can do this, because it's common. It's common to everyone. It's not just I can do it. You can all do it. We can all do it. Yeah. It's open source. And this is kind of where I think, again, in terms of understanding Bitcoin's economic value, everything has to be commoditized all the way along the line, right the way down to the starting point and beyond. And now I'm wondering whether it's a conspiracy in the fact that they don't talk about this, because I know Craig hasn't mentioned this. It might be like, BSV's secret sauce, but I'm going to spill the beans here anyway. So proof of work dilutes that central point, that starting point over time, which is why he stepped away from the project and let it grow. Because then after a period of 10 years, you've got a completely distributed network with organic growth, which is what gives it its economic value. But the commoditizing the starting point was the fact that he released the white paper 2 months before he started the network. So in other words, the starting point was common to everyone because he gave everybody an equal opportunity to start the network themselves. That's what makes it a commodity. You've got all these douchebags, in the rest of the crypto saying, oh, Satoshi gave us this gift. It's just because they haven't figured out how we solve that paradox of it being the paradox of the centralized starting point, and how Bitcoin is a commodity and not a security offering. Anything, including Litecoin, because Charlie Lee started it, that's your centralized starting point. Litecoin is also a security. They're all securities. The only chain that's got any economic value is Bitcoin, which is BSV, because it's got the chain of signatures, which is what you need for a legal tender. So
this is also because Ryan has said this many times in the past as well, is the fact that BTC, they took out the hash chain of signatures, and because they took out the hash chain of signatures, it is no longer a coin. So I know there's a little statement that Ryan says, and I love it, because he's like, I don't know what it is, but it's not a coin, and I don't know what it is anymore because they took out the hash chain of signatures.
You need.
It's not even a coin. It's just
you need a signature with that data to prove that you've sent them that commodity. No signature on it. You cannot identify who sent it to you. Therefore, you have no legal recourse. You're just receiving worthless bits of data like something on a calculator. It's ridiculous.
Now
BTC.
Then, let's go back to the conference, shall we?
All right.
So and you can give us all the technical details later. So now, day one, the agenda was we started with BSV blockchain, a world of good. So this is what you're saying about the data commodity network and everything that you've just stated. Is a world of good.
A world of good, because it's got the double meanings, hasn't it? Because a good is a commodity.
Oh, I hadn't recognized that, Ruth. Good spot.
No, it's always very, very clever. I mean, all the time chain and the other themes that he's come up with in the past, Jimmy, when we're talking about, are always very, very clever and dual meaning. And he didn't let us down.
Mm-hmm. So what do we think about the fact that it was actually in Dubai, in the Middle East this time? Because, I mean, we all know there's a lot of money in the Middle East, don't we? So hopefully, that's going to bring in quite a bit of capital, maybe to the actual, network. And I mean, what do we think about that as a location? I would have loved to have gone, did not go myself.
Yeah, well, in terms of having the money over there, my goodness me, that is certainly a wealthy area to be in. I mean, the fact that BSV has only got like a $1 billion market cap is absolutely insane. But Craig put that post out recently saying that the BTC core clowns, whatever you want to call them, have been suppressing the price for about 3 years. So they're going to be running out of their BSV supplies because you can only suppress the price for so long. And being out in the Middle East, I think highlights that contradiction between the price and what its real value should be.
And I think Craig is very sympathetic to Islamic financial, Islamic banking principles, isn't he?
The Islamic, or what do they call it?
Avoid the usury of
right.
kind of a Western banking system or lending system. I can't claim to understand it fully, but I think it prohibits interest.
It does. Yeah, that's all it is. You're not allowed to lend money or with interest. So people, in the Islamic faith, they help each other out. Yeah, they don't lend. They put all their money in a pot, and they basically club together. So that they club together and take turns to buy stuff. So you don't actually lend money with interest.
So if you borrow
it's
100,
a bit like investing in a company.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's just like a collective, really.
I mean, so I think that might be one of the reasons why they enjoy the Middle East, because I think Bitcoin, or at least our version of it in SV, is quite sympathetic to their, morality in banking. So I think that's probably a big part of it, because it's all kind of set up and ready to go for what they need.
I wonder also, Craig's court case with Ira Kleiman, surely, somebody somewhere who isn't influenced by the nefarious forces, like people in the Middle East, were just like, he's blatantly won that.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. Yeah.
Would that not be the same with McCormack as well? Because, I mean, obviously Craig was in court on Monday and Tuesday with McCormack, and he had to fly to Dubai, was it Tuesday night, so that he was there for Wednesday.
I think it was Wednesday night, so he was there for Thursday.
Was it,
Actually,
was it Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? Okay, yeah.
I've lost track. I lost track.
So does anybody know anything? Do you know anything about what happened with the court case, Toshi?
Well, only a little bit of insider knowledge that McCormack went up to the barrister, Craig's barrister at the end, and said, all the German soldiers in World War II said we were just simply following orders, clearly sour grapes.
Well, I know that Craig did say that everything was fine from his point of view. So
Wow.
that's a real positive, I think, in that respect. And is
I
this a
don't
good
think the
analogy?
results are going to be due for about it's some point in the next few weeks, isn't it? So it's not going to be immediate.
Yeah, so we have to keep our eye out on that. So is this a good analogy then? It's like 12 people pay into a pot every month and one person gets the pot every month.
Yeah, I think so. Like a shared purse.
Yeah.
Well done, Schmuck. So what about, so we moved on to the middle. So we then went into small payments, big fun, micro payments for casual games, scaling games on layer one, why it matters, and play to earn. So, I mean, this is a big thing because we all know
that was Haste and Eurodogs and all of that, wasn't it?
Well, we've got Haste Arcade, haven't we? And there's, I mean, the last time I logged into Haste Arcade, there were about 20 more games that I hadn't seen previously. So this is getting huge. And then, yeah, Eurodogs, we all know Eurodogs because obviously we have a fabulous collection for the women of BSV, Eurodogs. And, I mean, we still, all of us, I haven't played yet still, but I really want to get the guys on Crypto Fights, which is a play to earn game as well. So, I mean, has anybody experienced Crypto Fights yet? The NFTs in Crypto Fights. We've all had a go at Eurodogs. Anybody had a go at Haste Arcade?
Yes, I did have a go at Haste Arcade, but right in the beginning. I haven't had a go recently. I think they've added a lot more games as well, haven't they?
Well, I know I played I think it was Forest Fire or something. And there's this like little platform game, so you have to kind of jump up on the platforms, and then you get these pennies, and then you earn from if you have the highest score, then you earn from everybody else who plays the game who hasn't actually got to the highest score yet. So I think that's quite interesting because it's like you've got your hand cash wallet, and every now and again you just get all these little microtransactions coming into your hand cash wallet because you're on the leaderboard and somebody else is playing but they haven't managed to get to the leaderboard. And so there is the NFT, so you've got to, like with Eurodogs as a marketplace, so if you've got any items that the dog Eurodogs has dug up, you can actually sell those on a marketplace to somewhere, so that's another way of earning. I think there's a chess game, isn't there? There's like a 2048, there's quite a lot of games. Forest Fire is the OG. This is very true. I was probably one of the first people to play it as well, actually, to be honest with you. So
shall we go back to the conference then? Because I'm just looking at because I made some notes. I've got to admit, I missed the first few talks first thing in the morning because I just didn't get up early enough.
Yeah, because this is where we are at. You see, the first day, we had the opening and then we went into play to earn and the game.
It's considerably easier for us than it was for Casey. Probably. You probably didn't see much of it. But, so I remember there were two buzzes. There was a Buzzcast and a Buzz Mint.
Well, I know about Buzz Mint.
Go on. There's a Buzz
Mint actually were at the Block Dojo cohort, so I got to see the presentation from them, and apparently they've been in the industry quite a while. So Buzz Mint provides a white label platform for brands and premium content creators to create huge value for existing legacy content, new campaigns to ideate, create and deploy NFT token projects with real utility and purpose. So they were working with people like Vogue magazine and OK magazine and stuff like that. So I know a little bit about that platform, but not too much. So what do you think? What did you think of it?
I thought it looked cool. I mean, they seem to be very, very serious and be selling really important pieces of art as well. And they've got a Renoir painting that they've got on auction for $3 million, but it's a pegged digital. It's real painting is being sold, not just the NFT. And then there was Buzzcast, and they seem to be also doing NFTs, but they were gamifying virtual conference attendance, from what I remember. So they were trying to make it so that watching a conference virtually wasn't sort of such a kind of a hollow experience of just, no interaction. I think the idea is to get people engaged with what they were watching by offering NFTs to make it more enjoyable. Got to admit, I haven't written a lot of notes.
How does that work then? I mean, is that a bit like when who is it that does the VR AR, Casey? Omniscape. Yeah, was it a bit like when they originally had that app, didn't they, for the first virtual conference, and you could scan something, can't remember what it was, and then like there was a unicorn or there was a dragon flying around and there was an alien and stuff, and if you clicked on them, then you earned some Bitcoin from it. So a little bit like that, gamifying in that kind of sense. I mean, KP Dad says it's got something to do with Mr. Gates.
I don't know. You've lost me there, actually.
I'll have to go check that out, Dad.
Yeah, one of the conferences we did have that Omniscape, but yeah, that's what KP Dad says. We all know KP Dad knows a lot about things that have been going on. So what else have we got? What did you think of Buzzmint then? Do you think it's a good concept?
Oh yeah, no, I thought Buzzmint was good. Buzzcast looked good. There was Omniscape was on the same morning, I think, and obviously we've had Robert Rice on the show, absolutely wonderful guy. And one of the points that he was making was that by 2030, AR and VR is going to be a $13 trillion economy.
I mean, that's nothing to be laughed at, is it really? If nobody's seen our interview...
Is that again, $13 trillion.
Brilliant, yeah. So if nobody's seen our interview with Robert Rice, then it's on our channel. Please go and watch it. Very interesting gentleman, completely. Yeah. So $13 trillion is going to be the VR market cap in what, 10 years?
Less.
2030?
8 years.
8 years? Wow.
And I mean, it's already pretty big, I would imagine. And he's the guy who allows you to place objects into the world. So he's got this vision that he's going to basically make it so that one person can look at their phone and see other people in their phone. So it's kind of a combination of VR and AR, isn't it? Augmented reality and virtual reality. Somebody else is going to be able to wear their headset and be in a different location, and then the person who's hosting it will be able to see them in that location. So, I mean, it's not exactly Star Wars holographic chessboard yet, but like
it's getting there though, isn't it?
Pretty close.
It's certainly getting there. So what do you think about that, Toshi? I mean, what do you think about this AR, VR kind of environment and stuff?
I think it's new. I think it's very exciting. I mean, obviously we've seen the dare we say the name, Facebook changing its name to Metaverse and all that, because they were sort of advertising what things are going to be in the future. But again, I mean, it's all predictions. I mean, it certainly seems exciting, and it's extremely creative. So where there's room for creativity, there's room for fun and utility. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
I think it's not going to look like how we think it's going to look. When the internet first came about and it was just horribly slow and really irritating. But then after the year 2000, everyone got like ISDN, if you remember, like a faster internet connection stuff instead of dial-up modems, and it became something quite different really rapidly. So I think you kind of have the first go at things, and then you have the second go where you get serious about it.
One thing and
the technology catches up. So I think once we can stop wearing those headsets, it's going to get a lot better.
Yeah, one thing I think that is good about it is, for example, who's been like Phil Dermis. He's the Walrus Whisperer. So I don't know if anybody knows about the Walrus Whisperer. I'm just going to talk about this. But basically, instead of having an orca whale stuck in a swimming pool, okay, and entertaining children for educational purposes, we won't be abusing animals in that way in the future, because you can do it all with AR, VR, augmented reality, and it can be like, you can use that for educational purposes. So we don't need to put animals in zoos. We don't need to put whales and orcas in
just attach a very small camera to them and like follow them around in their pods and stuff in the sea. I mean, it's got to be less hassle.
All the information that we've now got, it can all be done in 3D virtual reality, instead of actually going out and kidnapping an animal, a dolphin, and bringing it back for the purposes of what? Just entertaining people.
I agree.
And the animals are completely, they're not in their right environments in any way whatsoever. So that's something that I think is an amazing thing that can be used with that kind of technology,
and like immersive as well, so that you feel like you're in the tank with it.
Yes, but you're not causing any harm to the environment or animals or anything at all. So I see that there is a use for that in educational purposes.
Just to finish up on Robert Royce's Omniscape speech, he made this really good point, and I mean, it's dead obvious. As soon as I say it out loud, it's dead obvious. But I just thought it was, it kind of clicked in my head when he says blockchain allows for a shared reality because it's permanent, secure, verifiable, authentic, anti-fraud, and has transactions built in. And I hadn't really thought of it like that before, but the blockchain is this sort of perma world, isn't it? It where everyone can agree what the reality is, even though you're accessing it from all different locations. And it's verifiable and it's authenticated, and it is like a shared reality, albeit, a flat one until you turn it into something 3D. But I just thought it's a really good point you made, really, with the time stamping and everything. No, just me. Okay.
I was reading the comments, actually. There's quite a few comments going on here, so sorry, Ruth.
Oh, you should be sleeping right now.
No, yes. Dad, I'm gonna say it comments women of BSV. That was me that typed that, but yeah, it's crazy. Did you guys read that?
No, well, I've read your comment. Dad, stop it. You're putting us off.
Buzzcast is the premium virtual events platform powering the world's most buzzworthy events. Trusted by global brands, including Anthem, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the World Trade and Tourism Council, and Uber. Buzzcast delivers a broadcast quality experience with zero downtime.
Oh, no, I did see that. Yeah, they had them on one of their slides.
Oh, I didn't even know that they were involved with anything in BSB yet. I thought those were the kind of.
The thing is that these big players hold big conferences. I don't think you can tar everybody with the same brush just because they did some work for a company. But anyway, moving on. I don't know.
Hello, Corpy. Beautiful.
Hey.
Hey, Corpy. Nice to see you, face. So what else? Because you've got the itinerary list up there. Tell me.
Yeah. So I mean, after Buzzment, we went metaverse, NFTs, and blockchain, which is kind of what we're talking about with AR, VR. Yeah. Anyway, isn't it? And then placing, like you've got the 3D houses in a 3D virtual world where you can stick your NFT artwork on the wall and somebody can come along and they can buy the NFT artwork in the virtual world, in the virtual house, which our very own Corpy is going to be holding a event for her own art soon.
So you talked about that, Corpy?
Gallery
in a cabinet by the look of it.
And is all of your artwork going to be turned into NFTs, Corpy?
No, it's just old-fashioned art gallery.
That's lovely, though. I mean, the venue looked really cool. So are you going to have paintings hanging on walls then?
Real walls, real
Yes.
paintings on real walls.
Yes.
When is it on? What can I hear?
I can hear something as well.
Oh, it must be Corpy. She got the telly on. She got friends. So,
Oh, it's gone again. It's that damn
So we-
cat. I swear, it's forever at her back door.
So we also had the next big thing, incubating startups on the BSV blockchain. Now, I didn't see that, but I'm assuming that that was Block Dojo, because I did see that, is it, not Richard, it wasn't Richard, Richard Bose was there, wasn't he?
I don't know. I don't
Anybody
think I saw
see
it.
the Block Dojo presentation? What about you, Toshi?
I haven't. I haven't really. I've literally just sort of like been back most days and just sort of like watched Joshua Hensley's recap of it. I've literally only sort of saw
Yeah,
glimpse of the conferences. I've been wanting to watch it, and I plan to watch it this weekend, but I haven't actually seen much of it.
No, I can't say I saw all of it as well, but I did see a little presentation from Alice.
I was going to
Alas,
say, tell you what about
Brendan. And
go on.
Brendan, well, I'm doing the philosophy course with Craig, and Brendan's on the philosophy course as well. And I was very pleased to see that Brendan used a lot of what we were learning on the philosophy course within his presentation. And it did make quite a lot of sense that he did actually use that as well. So that was very interesting, very well presented by Brendan. I do have a lot of respect for Brendan. I think he's absolutely phenomenal.
Yes,
So it's really interesting. Go on, Kate.
I asked him to join us when we talked to Michael Tellinger about his token stuff.
Oh, that would
He
be
said he would love to join us to help talk about that token project with Michael Tellinger.
That's cool, because Tokenize is Brendan's, isn't it? So he was the first one in BSV to do Tokenize. Was it?
Tokenized
well, he
is
would tokenized, but no, that's Elas has his own tokens. So yeah, but he did develop a tokenized platform, I think.
Oh, there you go. Then that's where I'm probably getting that from.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the impression that what they were talking about, Elas, was private blockchains. I don't know how much of his presentation you saw, but he seemed to be saying that they can basically offer blockchain as a service. So that's an interesting concept.
I suppose it's like I used to work at Boots years and years ago in one of my other many disguises, and they, it's like the internet and the intranet. They had a private intranet for everybody on site. So I should imagine it's very similar to that, isn't it? But it will be run on BSV.
Well, the thing is, you wouldn't need a private blockchain, because BSV is private. It is a private blockchain. The only people who can see the information on it are the people who you share it with.
Well, that may well be what he meant, Toshi, because I'm not quite sure, if I'm honest. I was zoning in and out of these presentations a bit, but so it could be that it's just selecting the information from the blockchain, like the service of actually, selecting out your own information and decrypting it and encrypting it. I'm not really sure, so I'd have to look into that a bit more.
Yeah, it would be interesting to find out, because I think even some of the guys at the top are still really confused about how blockchain is actually sort of like what it's meant to operate as. There are loads of misconceptions, and I even hear that sometimes when I'm listening to people talking, even people in BSV at the top, even they get it wrong. Which makes me think sometimes, why am I not up on stage telling them all about it?
Will you be presenting at London? I mean, the next one's going to be London, isn't it? So are you going to be having a place on stage at a London conference, Tosh?
Oh, I doubt it. I doubt it. I've got my own little projects. I've got my own little projects on the go. But I tell you what, I will do for a bit of fun. I'm going to try and put Leeds in competition with London. That's right. We're going to make Leeds the Bitcoin capital of Britain.
So that would be cool. You have a digital. What was that? Digital. There's a week, isn't there, where you have a. What is it? What's it called?
Oh yeah, yeah. So we have the digital festival.
That's
the
it.
Leeds Digital Festival up here. So, in fact, I think a couple of years ago, Jimmy and Craig were actually thinking about coming up here. But to be honest with you, it was a good job they didn't back then, because as I was getting to know the market, honestly, I've been to a few top universities, should we say, in Leeds. Hint, hint. And they've got sort of like blockchain, clubs there. Literally, absolutely no clue about what blockchain and Bitcoin is. Should I say they're all a bunch of shitcoiners? All of them, honestly, the whole lot. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, this is meant to be a red brick university, and you're talking to me about XRP and Tron and good.
You'll find that everywhere, though, I reckon, because I mean, just like nobody knows about BSV, like nobody.
Not everywhere. If in June or July, we'll have Jack Rogers on, and Jack is a university lecturer at Exeter University, and he is, he knows a lot about BSV, and he's teaching his students about BSV. So hopefully Jack's going to come on and he can explain, what it is that he's teaching them, how he's teaching them. I know we think he does a fintech course. Hopefully,
in the curriculum as well.
Our channel would be perfect for them, do you not think? I mean, they can come and watch our channel and they can see all the development that has already happened and all the people that are actually working for the students. This is, I think what a great educational channel we've got here already.
Yeah.
So I think that would be great if we can get him on and see what his take is on that as well. So I know there is one university at least that we do know of in this country that's got somebody specifically specialising in BSV, which is a great thing.
Yeah, wait till number go up, and then suddenly all the narratives will change. All these people will start saying, "Well, I did suspect this. I did think this. Oh, it does actually make sense now." Oh, really? Is that because it's like gone up by 100x? Suddenly, suddenly I understand it now because the number's gone in the direction that I wanted it to.
Yeah, well, we all know that price doesn't, really matter. It's more about the technology.
Although, I mean, I do get the impression at the minute that like everything. Oh, thank you. Everything is crashing right now. Like whether it's commodities or stocks and shares. Crypto. I mean, I just think it's like everything's in a bad market.
I think it's a conspiracy. They're doing it on purpose. I'm telling you.
Me too.
Yeah.
If you look at what is going on in the world, it all coincides with the scaling of BSV. They brought put politics aside, but this thing the whole thing that the world is experiencing was moved forward. And it's
speeding up of the process.
Exactly, as Bitcoin was scaling. So it's kind of, I can probably say this. Tell me if we can always maybe retract it, but it's like this. You either have a one world money used by the people to create government that works for the people, or you have a government that creates money to control the people. That's it. So those in control are desperate for the people not to find out about a commodity money that they can use to then create government and, that works for them. So suddenly you've got this huge, entity with a lot of power that controls the fiat currency supply that is a central power. And then you've got a commodity money. So everything that they're doing is trying to disguise and distract people away from finding out that there is a commodity money out there that we can use. I mean, if you look at the shitcoin market, it's $1 trillion shitcoin market that they've allowed to develop. And they're all absolute pieces of garbage. The whole lot. Literally, commoditizing data is like creating water. Water can only be created one way. Data can only be commoditized one way. And that the only way it can be commoditized is through the protocol that the Bitcoin runs on. With those 5 things, you need a chain of signatures, you need economic competition between the nodes, you need infinite scale, you need a locked protocol, and the last one off the top of my head, can't remember what it is. Crikey, help me out, ladies. Come on, let's do this.
I don't know.
Hold on.
All right, here we go. So the fixed supply. That was the one.
Fixed supply.
Yeah. Fixed supply, locked protocol, economic competition, infinite scale, and a chain of signatures. That's all
There
you
you go.
need. It's that simple. And literally, BSV is the only protocol that's got all those things. That's it. It's crazy when you literally narrow it down to those 5 things. So, I mean, let's go through them quickly. Fixed supply, so no one controls it. Locked protocol, so anyone can build on it. Economic competition between the nodes, because without a competition, you simply get collusion. What was the next one?
Chain of signatures.
The chain of signatures for legal tender, so that everybody has equal accountability. Oh, an infinite scale, so anyone can use it at the same time, which is like the uncapped block size. Literally, that's all it is. That is literally like the protocol. It's so if you look at like the $1 trillion shitcoin market, you've got ERC20 tokens. Tokens run on top of the coins, so those tokens are useless. Then you've got pre-mined, which literally doesn't have any competition on the network whatsoever because it's a centralized spreadsheet. Proof of stake, even though it's distributed, doesn't actually have any competition between the nodes. Then the proof of work coins are like Dogecoin that's inflated, so that's useless. Monero and Bcrush, which are anonymous, so there's no legal recourse, which means it can't be used as legal tender. Charlie Lee started Litecoin, so that's what discredits that one. BTC has had a chain of signatures segregated, so there's no signature, no digital signature with the transaction.
Literally, on Litecoin as well, didn't they?
Yeah,
do you remember
all that.
On Litecoin first.
Yeah, they might have done. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's like when you understand it, to like it's so simple, it's amazing. It's amazing that nobody else has come up with this. But I would say they've all been psyoped by this propaganda, But I mean, it's
definitely.
Literally, I think
with price. I think.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's literally price is the only thing that they can manipulate because the protocol can't be manipulated. And it's the only one that, I mean, again, the secret sauce is these micropayments. Again, no one knows how Craig has done it. But in terms of working out how micropayments are done, you basically have to absolutely strike the balance between something. There's no other way it can be done. Because you need micropayments and you also need profits as well because you need to keep the miners in profit. So whatever it is he's done there, it can only be done on BSV.
I mean, didn't we have a 4.38 gigabyte block or something the other day as well?
Really? Yeah. That is massive. 4.38.
It's something like that. Lise Lee was. I got that info from Lise Lee, so yeah, I'm sure it's that. And somebody was saying about Ethereum. Let's just have a chat. So there's a tweet here that's been floating around, and it came from Craig's LinkedIn. Now I'm banned on LinkedIn because I've been a naughty girl, but it says about 5 to 6 years ago we started working on a series of concepts that I have not even fully explained to my research teams. This is one of the building blocks, and there's actually a link there, but it says we have the IP now to build on Ethereum proof systems that enhance the solidity contracts and mirrors the entire ETH chain. The IP will be open on Bitcoin BSV, but still require the payment of license fees on ETH natively. So choice: high fees, same classic legacy system, or 100 times cheaper natively on BSV.
Probably 1,000 times cheaper. Yeah.
Well, that's Craig's words.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I mean that's right, because I mean because I think he's just been issued the Ethereum. I can never remember what these tokens are called. ERC 720 or something. I forget.
Yeah, that's right. It was the patent for a smart contract.
Yes. So I guess the point is he's going to enforce that patent on Ethereum itself. But if people want to switch to using Ethereum, I guess wrapped Ethereum on BSV, I'm not quite sure the logistics of how it's going to work, whether it'll be duplicated or tied to it back to the original chain somehow. That I'm not clear on.
Well, is it actually going to be Ethereum tokens wrapped, or is it just going to be their NFTs?
I don't know. We need some answers to that. We need to get Joshua Hensley on or somebody.
Shall we? Because I've just popped
That,
So
I
Xiaowei,
texted him and I asked him, I'm like, come be our secret guest on our live
he's
stream.
probably on a plane
He's
right now.
literally on a plane, so he couldn't otherwise.
We
But
got to do
he's
that.
gonna come on really soon to really deep dive into all this stuff because I was
Brilliant.
this
blown
here,
away.
I know it's a bit of a long link, but if you go to this link here, Xiaowei has a Medium like channel. So if you go to medium.com, and this actually explains a lot of
And
how
let's
it
get
works.
to him because he gave one of the most stunning presentations of the week, I thought.
Oh yeah.
And he created a transpiler, a word I've never heard before actually. I've heard of a compiler, but anyway, transpiler, I suppose, is translator compiler to translate Solidity code directly to script code with one click.
I mean, that's
And
phenomenal.
that's incredible. So what that means, therefore, is that anybody who's running Ethereum businesses can basically try it out risk-free on the BSV blockchain whilst reducing their costs 1,000-fold and increasing the scalability 1,000-fold. So it makes switching chains almost costless and nothing but savings, really.
Incredible.
Work. And also what you're saying, which is amazing. He was telling us that he programmed Taproot, BTC's Taproot, in his lunch break. Yeah, in a script code. And that's taken thousands of programmer man hours on BTC so far. So that's sort of hilarious. And he also programmed Monero ring signatures and Zcash ZK snarks in 30 lines of code.
I wonder what these guys are saying about it.
Yeah.
They're probably having a really good round table.
Let's pump it. Let's dump it, probably. But I mean, the point being that I mean, Xiaowei is just a genius. He's brilliant, but he's sort of making a mockery, really, of these other chains.
Good.
By doing
they should do. They should make a mockery of him.
If you've not seen, we've also had an interview with Xiaowei, which is on our channel, which is really, really
he's
interesting.
A wonderful, wonderful guy.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, he's brilliant. I love Xiaowei.
Yeah.
So you should watch that as well because it is really interesting and it answers a lot of questions.
So basically, not only does Craig think that he can, simulate Ethereum on BSV, but now if Ethereum businesses want to actually switch chains altogether,
one click,
it's basically cost-free for them to give it a go, risk-free.
It's hilarious. I wonder who's going to be the first to move. Like literally, the way I envision the crypto shitcoin market is literally like lemmings being squeezed further and further to the cliff edge. You know, at the moment one of them jumps, they all jump because they're on a sinking ship. Literally, they're like like.
Sorry, yeah. I was going to say, I mean, that's exactly what CryptoFights did because they were on Engine to start off with, which is an Ethereum. Because I know because I still have Founders tokens, which are still stuck in my Engine wallet from when it was like about 3 cents. And then it shot up to like 1 something or another, but purely and simply because they couldn't do anything with it. The chain was kind of blocked. So obviously CryptoFights came away from Ethereum and they came and used BSV and now they're absolutely flying on BSV. But yeah, I mean I'd love it if they would somebody from CryptoFights would come on and let me know what is it I'm supposed to be doing with these Founders tokens, because I must have had them in my wallet now for at least 3 years. So come on, guys, tell us what we need to do.
Microsoft shares, did he, like 30 years after the fact or something? Yeah. We kind of hope. Can I talk about
are we on day 1 or day 2?
Post and Vinex as well?
Oh, well, let's have a just a quick one before we go on to that. Andreas, good to see the man. Haven't spoken to him for a long time. He says, I believe that the price is an accurate reflection of the economic activity. I do not believe in the conspiracy to manipulate the price down. The market is giving you an accurate feedback. Absolutely no way is that correct. Absolutely no way. like literally, so Craig wins his court case with Ira Kleiman. Like, you would expect the price to go up. It didn't. If something was wrong, you would expect the price to go level. The price went down. Absolute schoolboy. Like, absolutely, you literally couldn't even pay for the kind of press coverage that court case got. You know, whatever it was that Kurt called it, trial of the century. You know,
the 60 billion one.
Yeah, the price is absolutely, and I can tell you why it's manipulated, because all these other entities like Binance and whatever, they've tried mining BSV, but the moment they try and the reason they want to mine BSV is because they want to dump it. And what they don't want to do is buy it, because obviously that gives the wrong indication to the market. So the only way they can get it is through mining it. And the moment they mine it, Craig just simply whacks up the difficulty adjustment, the amount of hash rate, to make it like 25% less profitable. So you're better off mining BTC and then selling your BTC and buying BSV with it if that's what you want to do. But they won't do it because that's not what they want. The price is absolutely manipulated. And as Craig has been monitoring this for years, and I will tell you, like, I may as well say this. He had it can't have been anyone else. Let's just say that. It can't have been anybody else. There was 1.4 million BTC lined up, ready to literally destroy the market, because all you need to do is attack the trade volume, and the trade volume is only like 5% of the overall market cap. It's not very much at all. The moment you start attacking that, the price just absolutely tanks. And I was the one, I was like, look, if you're going to do this, please think about the consequences. Like, Bitcoin's going to be written into the history books, but, it needs to be written right, with a W. It's going to need you around to do it. Like, please change your mind, just do this properly. So I know that's what he was doing, because immediately the moment I said that to him, I was like pleading with him to do it properly. I was then like, there has to be another way. What's he going to do? So I was monitoring the figures. And then when I saw what he was doing, I realized he was squeezing the miners. So literally, like, BS, like, we'll have a gentleman's agreement on this. So if the price explodes from literally like where it is today to like 10 grand in a week and 100 grand in a month, I win. Because that, prices do not do that naturally. They only do that if they've been artificially suppressed for a long, long time. And I'm absolutely 100% confident that that's what's going to happen. It's going to go absolutely mental.
I think it's been so long waiting, though, Toshi, that I've slightly, I wouldn't say I've lost interest, but I just don't really think about it much anymore.
Well, good.
Well, yeah, it's just, I'm just really, really interested in all the inventions on BSV and all the things that weren't possible before that are now possible. I care less about the price. I know I'm rare because like lots of people are trying to make their living doing this and all the rest of it. But I think it's going to shock us all when the price finally does go up. And I don't really know what it'll be. What do you think, Toshi? What's going to be the trigger?
Well, it could be literally, again, like dominoes falling over. It literally could be the most mundane thing. But all it takes is one thing. Literally, all it takes is either one miner to lose their bottle and start going, oh, maybe we should get some of that BSV. Or it could be a corporation that actually starts demonstrating the value proposition. Or it could be Craig actually, like, moving one of his coins. Or it could be a court case ruling that he's won. Literally, but this is why they're trying to artificially suppress the price, because that could also be a trigger. If they don't suppress the price and the price just simply starts creeping up slowly, everybody's going to pile in. Literally, they are doing all they can, to try and to suppress the price at every angle. But literally, all it's going to take is one thing. And they're running out of BSV reserves in order to keep the price low.
Yeah, precisely. So going to day two, one of the speeches I saw the back end of was Unisat with Stefan Nielsen, and did he not say, because this is food supply chain, okay, on the blockchain, and I did he not say that literally their company had the most transactions or something? Like there's a scale. I'm not sure where this scale is, but there's a scale of all the companies that are on BSV at the moment and what the transactions are, the amount of transactions.
The price is clear winner, is it not?
I'm sure he said he like they'd blasted everybody else out of the water at that time, and they were actually at the top of this list with the most transactions. Now,
Is that a pun, did he, with him being seafood chain, blasting everyone out of the water?
Well, there you go. You see my humour that I don't even know I've got. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's not just seafood, though, is it? It's food. It's like it can be the whole supply chain for food. It doesn't have to be just fish, does it? I mean, you know, when you're talking about fish, that's a you know, all the prawns in the ocean, all the prawns that people eat, you know, fish and chips, you know, like tuna, you know, if you're a pescatarian and you eat fish. But I mean, if we look at this,
That's a huge use case, isn't it? Yeah, to
you've
track
always,
the food supply.
yeah, I mean, from the what is it, the caviar, the egg, to being on somebody's plate, that you can track the whole thing continually, and for every single, I mean, if you just think about salmon, you know, the amount of fish eggs that there are, you know, like a caviar or whatever, you know, I mean, to be able to put every single one of those on the blockchain is madness. That's a hell of a lot of transactions.
I'd be amazed if they did it like that, but yeah, okay. Pounds of them, maybe. Ounces of them, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, Toshi thought, I've always had this thing where I used to listen to Toshi all the time, but I'm too busy now and I can't listen to Toshi, so I do get
too famous.
I do remember for you saying about you could put the whole of like world supply chain on BSV 50 times over.
Not that, it's global trade. Global trade times
global trade. Okay,
everything.
So everything.
Yeah. We're talking everything, including derivatives. Literally, BSV will take everything. Like the derivatives market is estimated to be between 800 trillion and $1 quadrillion. BSV will take all of it. All of it.
And is there anything that can stop us?
Nope. Well, the only thing that can stop us is if a one world totalitarian government is installed and they just shut all the world down. That's one of the ways it can be done, which is why they're trying to do it. And the other one is just simply where there's not enough block fees to surpass the block reward in order to economically sustain the miners. But I think, to be honest with you, I mean, Craig looks, you know, really cheery about that, because even with crypto fights being off chain at the moment, there's still enough transaction volume once the number goes up to economically sustain the miners easily. And there's so much more coming on. I mean, my goodness me, I think crypto fights again could be a trigger. I think it was Bitcoin Hoarder who was saying that if you look at the growth, I mean, crypto fights went off chain when transactions reached 10 million transactions in 24 hours because they didn't have their own hardware needed to be upgraded. They came back on chain, and within 48 hours, 10 million transactions had gone to 20 million transactions, and they were just like, whoa, we didn't expect this. So now they're off chain again. They could easily come on and ramp up to 50 million transactions in 24 hours. And that takes BSV to at least like 98% transaction volume of the entire market. Figures like that cannot be ignored.
They're still in beta, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's going to be massive.
So on day 2? Okay, so on day 2 we were BSV for retail payments, remittances, and rewards. So I mean, there's quite a lot in that itself anyway. Remittance, payments, and rewards. So we're talking like, I don't know. I mean, I don't have reward cards, but like Boots has a reward card. So you go and buy something and then you get some reward points put on a card, and then you can top those up, and then you can buy something with those, say maybe 3 months down the line if you've got enough reward points. So they're going to be tokenized, you reckon, then? The reward points?
I'm not sure, but I can certainly tell you that what you've just described there is what Gravity should have done.
I think they are doing tokens now.
Yeah, but what? Yeah, but they should be reward tokens. See, what they're doing is they're selling tokens, which makes them an illegal security offering. whereas they should be reward tokens. That's
Well,
the
I don't
difference.
know. We'll have to wait and see when it gets announced. Can I go back to the conference for a minute? Because I've got
Yeah,
these
cool.
notes. So there was Mint Blue. Did anyone see Mint Blue? That was pretty impressive.
No,
It
tell
was-
us about Mint Blue, because I would love to get him on our show.
Yeah, no, we should definitely ask him. Their company is storing invoices on the blockchain in Holland, I think, in the Netherlands. And it says via PEPAL, which is a universal business language. So they're kind of doing it in a really low-level kind of way that presumably can be kind of latched onto by existing invoicing systems.
Yeah, is this not the one where
interoperable.
there literally was about 800,000 different companies in the work throughout the worldwide that actually use this invoicing system?
I think so, yes. And the really interesting part about it, right at the end, he was talking about how they are basically, in combination with the Dutch Central Bank, the Central Bank of the Netherlands, perhaps I should say it that way, they've created a fully regulated tokenized euro. So not a stable coin, but an actual digital euro.
Which is regulated.
Yeah.
Fully regulated. That's a
Yeah.
big,
It's a big hairy deal.
fully regulated.
Because the thing is, as he was saying, people don't want to be settling invoices in Satoshis or whatever. They want to be settling them in euros or whatever their currency is.
Yeah, in their local currency that they understand. Yeah. And the euro is a big market, to be honest with you. So is this reinventing business on the blockchain then?
Yeah, it was a big deal. You'd have to go back and revisit the talk really to get the full gist of it. But Mint Blue seem to be doing huge stuff, and it's that. Oh God, we should have Roy here. Electronic data, whatever it's called, EDR. I forget. Craig brings on about it all the time.
Is it the ESG compliance?
No, just sort of electronic data processing. Well, can't remember what it's called. Anyway, but that was a really cool one. And there was another company called Gate to Chain. This is a sort of a new person. I've never seen this guy present before, I don't think. I mean, I don't think it's a new company, but I've never seen this guy present before, and I can't remember his name either, and I'm hopeless with names anyway. And he'd got an app called Minter, which was real-world pegged NFTs with fiat and bank transfers, etc. So I don't know. I can't even understand my own notes with this one. But his company seemed to be connecting sensors to the internet via the blockchain. So he was making it the connections to real-world sensors, picking up data, and then tokenizing it, putting it on the blockchain. So that was like a development suite of tools, I think, for people to do that.
The development suite allows you to connect new or existing apps, websites, games, or any other system to the BSV blockchain.
Which, if you think about it, is huge because, like, data is the biggest commodity there is. So, actually commodifying data is probably the biggest use case there is.
Certainly the most valuable one.
Yeah. He seemed very slick. It was a very slick presentation.
Data is an goal.
And also the SPV wallet, the Light wallet. What was his name? Was it Jad Wahad? Jad Wahad. And he has developed the Light client, which is basically, I think, probably the first fully SPV wallet on BSV. I mean, we talk about SPV a lot, but this is, finally arrived in the form of this Light client wallet. Was he a Bitcoin Association guy? Did he?
No. Jad was a tech lead at InChain.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. That makes sense. Yeah, so basically, just to reiterate that really quickly, the whole point of SPV is that it uses the block headers and stores the block headers into the wallet for your own transactions, meaning that I can send Diddy payment and then she can settle it on the blockchain later, but we can both know that the payment was valid because my wallet stored all of the prior transactions in its Merkle tree of all of my transactions that have happened prior to that transaction leaving my wallet. So it's a way of basically decreasing the sort of volume of traffic across the network, whilst also keeping transactions peer-to-peer and instantaneous. Good stuff.
What timestamp was that, Ruth?
Oh, God
And what
knows.
day was that?
I don't
Remember
know.
what day?
I leave those things down. It's like
I
doing one
can
of
never look on this app.
I know day 2, maybe. Not sure.
Okay. Well, data, I mean, I suppose that goes to IoT and blockchain, doesn't it? Because, I mean, we were saying about being able to plug something in so everything could run on BSV with like a one click or something. So,
Oh, was
Internet
that?
of Things.
Oh, I don't know. What are you referring to there, Diddy?
You actually, well, I'm looking, to be fair, I'm looking at the timestamps for day 2 and I'm trying to see whether or not you're on day, what day you're on at the
Oh,
moment.
I'm all over the place.
Okay, fair play. You're all over the place. But there are, I mean, if you go to Coingeek, you know, there's day 1, day 2, and day 3 of the conference, and they are all timestamped. So you can see the time that you just wrote.
There was a hell of a lot. I mean, there was a hell of a lot. And I certainly didn't watch it all, but like, I caught some good stretches of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I mean, obviously everybody knows I like music and art and entertainment. So, I mean, on day 2, there was actually a lot of that discussed, to be
There
honest
was
with you. Shembu Spain was on.
Roshi and
Yeah, so we had
and also we had James
Michael
Franco.
from Sound
James
Oshi, and we
Franco.
had no, Franz Jenko. James Franco is the actor. Franz Jenko is Shamify XYZ.
Was that Luke's? Was that
Yeah,
Luke's
it's actually
reveal?
on the same.
Yeah.
I always,
So-
yeah, that's cool.
So Luke, I mean, it was great because there was Luke and there was Art and Michael at least, and then there was Shem all on the same stage, all talking about music, which was, you know, phenomenal at the end of the day. But yeah, no, that's great. I have asked Luke on our show before. Now he's shown his face, maybe he'll come on because it would be great to speak to him about Jamify as well. And they're all very different kind of platforms, but they're all very similar as well at the end of the day, because what it is, you know, minting music as an NFT and then being able to monetize it, yeah, and streaming and everything as well. But yeah, I mean, they were for me, they were great presentations.
Yeah.
And then go on.
I was just gonna say it's extremely exciting to free music like that. Just extremely like world changing, just right there, getting music.
And especially say for small artists or people, like, you know, for example, Spotify, I think I've said this before, you know, you need 1,000 plays before you even earn like 3p or something, you know. It's just a lot of plays for absolutely nothing. Yeah, so artists don't really get the benefit of their own art, you know, music wise in that sense. And it's the same with entertainment, sports, and blockchain as well. Now, this is interesting because I saw earlier that Brittany Bits had done a podcast about Rory McDonald, who is it now? Corpy should know this. Is he a welterweight champion? He's a boxing champion. He's
UFC.
a champion. UFC, is he? Okay, so, and he earned 25 grand from Rare Candy.
Did he?
Oh,
Yeah. No, I've not seen the program yet, but Brittany Bits has got a podcast about an hour long about Rory McDonald earning 25 grand, 25k on Rare Candy. I mean, that's absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. There's my word again. And then we went into Web3, BSV blockchain, IPv6 based 5G, 6G
yes.
blockchain.
What was his name? Why can't I remember his name? I tweeted about it. I've instantly forgotten his name. But yes, he gave a really, really fascinating talk about IPv6. I think the gist of it is basically we're on IPv4 at the minute. Whatever we're on at the minute, we're going to run out of IP addresses. And this is basically a way to make it so that, like everything can have its own IP address and every transaction can have its own IP address and we'll never run out.
So infinite.
And I think that's the important thing, is because it sort of goes hand in hand with, BSV from the microtransaction perspective, to make the whole thing basically so that we can run the internet on the blockchain if we want to.
Which I suppose it should be. This is why it's leaky, isn't it? And I mean, if it's put on the blockchain, then it won't be as leaky as it is. IPv6, every app will have an IP address, says
Yeah, there you go.
IPv6, every app will have an IP address.
What's his name, people? Does anyone remember his name? Because I feel bad that I can't remember his name. But he was on stage with Craig at the end, did you see? And he said some very nice words about Craig. If I could find my own tweet, I'd read them out to you.
Well, in the capacity that I know Craig, I don't understand why people can say anything bad about him, because I actually he's always been so, and he's got such a great sense of humor. But maybe that's just me. I just I love that sense.
He's hilarious. Yes.
Oh, as an invitation for you, Toshi, go to the scammers meetings on Twitter, and you can be in there. Yeah. Now, I was really impressed. I don't know the guy's name, but I was really impressed with a talk from the blockchain in Africa, and it was the Nigerian guy who was talking about the problems over, obviously, in Nigeria. I mean, there's 200 million people live in Nigeria, so it's a big amount of people, and he was looking at solutions and things for being able to help poorer people over in Nigeria and just be able to get like business up and running in a sustainable kind of way as well. So that was an interesting talk.
It was,
I liked that talk until they brought up the fact that they're doing the XPass stuff in Africa, and I feel so conflicted about that, because there's so much information coming out about the dangers of that jab, and African people are intentionally kept in the dark because they don't have access to technology. A lot of this research.
The lady on stage, the African lady on stage who was speaking about it, did make some valid points, and she was saying basically that that there are issues with the fact that a non-medical person can now ask for your medical history, and she was pleased with the fact that the if we do it on the BSV blockchain, we can make it so that essentially you can kind of gatekeep what information somebody can see about you and compartmentalize it, and you can stay in control of it. And that's good. But to me, the fundamental problem is deeper than that. The fundamental problem is the fact that nobody who's non-medical should be allowed to ask you anything about your medical history. Least of all,
we can ask, but they have no right to know. I mean, No. I mean, me as a person could ask a friend, about their medical history, but I am not. But what you're saying is, you shouldn't have to go to a shop and then say, "Give me your medical history," so that you can buy some food.
Exactly, or enter a library or something like that. The fact that we're allowing non-medical people to demand medical information from somebody
is wrong.
Well, and then you saw the World Economic Forum people talking about how they can, now have a microchip in pills that they can get you to take, which will show, on a record somewhere whether or not you were compliant in taking the drug that you were prescribed.
And
is that the kind of stuff that we're put on
farcical. Yeah.
You see, that is far too invasive. Nobody's given consent for any of that at all. That was 2018. That was him talking. The CEO of Pfizer was talking about that in 2018. That's when that was about. So, the problem I have here is that they do not tell you what is in the medicine that they're giving you. So they could, without anybody's consent, stick these things in a pill, shove them down somebody's neck, and you don't even know you've got a microchip inside you, and you don't know what that's going to do to you long term, if it's going to do anything, if it's going to be safe or anything like that. You really don't know, because there is no real long-term data on it. I mean, I do agree that I've heard this before, and I know this happens, is like, for example, say they gave you a tetanus jab, right? So we've all had tetanus jabs probably, but in Africa they weren't keeping records. So a child could get the same jab 7 or 8 times from different people because there was no records. Now, this was a fault of the Gates thing. Whereas there were no records. So these kids were getting multiples of the same jab that they didn't need, and then that was making them ill in the long run and destroying their immune systems instead of helping them. And there was no records of that. So I do see that there is a real need to make sure that there is a record of what they've had when they've had. So you're not overdosing people, because literally that's what that is. It's overdosing.
The difficulty is,
They create a problem.
There's no acknowledgement that there is such a thing as an overdose.
Yeah.
That's the real problem.
The pharmaceutical companies do not see that overdosing
they won't admit that there is an overdose.
Yeah, when there is.
But as far as they're concerned, what's the issue? You could have
that is where I can see a good thing about the app, but then on another point I can see a bad thing about it, because obviously it can be so abused and taken advantage of, and so can the people that are using it, and given to the wrong people. Like, we need to be able to be sovereign individuals who own that data ourselves, and we have control of that data, not giving that to an outside company who we don't know what they're gonna do with it.
But let's face it, the real problem is not a blockchain problem. The real problem is the government's creating crazy laws.
Yep.
That's the real problem.
Yeah, which are all unlawful. The most exciting crypto.
Having said that, though, I'm not a fan of making it their lives easier. So.
Sorry, I can't do anything other than laugh at that.
No way, Lightning Labs World Economic Forum. That's outrageous.
Isn't that crazy? They're all like consolidating their power. It's so clear, like all these big moves that are happening while Craig's doing all this stuff. I don't know. Just.
Well, I see it as like Craig's coming in from underneath, and he's kind of building from the bottom up, and they're they're at the top, and they're deconstructing things, and he's going to get to the point where actually, well, you can't deconstruct me, mate, because I'm so big that you've now got a problem,
He's coming from behind.
Yeah.
Scaring the shit out, probably.
So what else?
Latif. He's the guy who was speaking about IPv6.
Okay.
And 5G, is that right? Oh no, I just said IPv6.
He said 5G and 6G. So, I mean, we haven't even got to 5G properly yet, and they're talking about 6G, so that's cool.
No, that's terrifying.
But then, yeah.
I think we'll all just be glowing, and...
I mean, the Hertz problem when it comes to 5 and 6G is a problem. So then we go into cybersecurity. So, we've got
cybersecurity was
Greg Ward,
wasn't it?
Because that was ESG compliance into blockchain mining, energy innovation, and cybersecurity for a safer world, and cloud security overlays on blockchain. So, what do you think about that, Tosh? Put you on the spot. Come on, cybersecurity, ESG.
Well, cybersecurity is kind of funny because blockchain technology means that you don't have to worry about computer viruses or cybersecurity. Like literally, nothing can crack the hash function. All you have to do is literally, not expose your private key for any high value. So, because quantum computers can crack private keys, but they can't crack the hash function, and you only reveal your private key when you're making a transfer. So you just don't carry large amounts of value around in wallets that you're using for retail transactions. So I don't really understand what they mean by cybersecurity and virus software problems, because blockchain solves it all.
Well, I mean, this is the whole point, isn't it? We're coming away from the legacy internet where cybersecurity is like, and now we're moving over to blockchain where actually there is actually some security.
Well, it was there's massive security.
Yeah, well, a very leaky system where we've got hackers and God knows what, and people. I mean, the other day actually, this is a perfect example. There was some strange person on Twitch, I don't know who it was, that basically included all the women in a Twitch, and it was pretty not, it was nasty. It was not what you send to somebody like myself or Corpy or Casey, and he did. So we all put a troll toll on it. So that's a security measure that we can use on the blockchain that you can't do on the legacy internet. So for people like myself, okay, so if you want to abuse me with a Twitch, you're going to have to pay $333 to do so.
$3,333 in my case, but yeah.
I put 111 for that guy.
Okay, well, I went
yeah.
Yeah.
Please, Jamie, please talk to me.
How much talk?
It's just a joke. And I really want to know what he's going to say next. I mean, if he's a real threat, I want to bust his ass.
We'll set you on him, Corby.
I mean, but this is another thing as well, though. If somebody does actually, if it's a cyber bully and they're really causing a lot of problem, it's a big harassment problem, it's a lot of abuse, it's on the blockchain. So that can be reported and that can be seen. They can't if your dad says here, you can't delete the log files or change anything. It's there as it is. So, I mean, I know sometimes I can be a bit at times, but I don't go around, just like say some things that probably would be considered a bit,
get you banned, you mean?
Yeah, get me banned, yeah. But I'm not got any police knocking on the door. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas, if somebody's done that specifically on the blockchain and they are targeting someone, you can report it. It can be tracked. It can be looked at, and there can be something done about it. Or you can put a toll in place, and it's like, well, I'm going to get rich from you trying to do that, and I'm going to have a good laugh at you spending all this money on me just to abuse me.
And also, just to add a little bit to their ditty, because every transaction that they make has got a digital signature attached to it, there is common accountability, but that chain of signatures protects all the other users on the network. So, for example, if you have a platform, like YouTube or whatever, that has naughty images of children being uploaded to it, because those naughty images of children are on the corporate server, it's that corporation that is then liable for those images being on their own servers. Whereas when you upload something onto the blockchain, because it has exactly. So it's the digital signatures that protect all the other users on the network.
KP Dad says here as well, I mean, this is one of the things, if you're aware of the fact that every single thing that you're doing is literally immutable and it will stay there forever, it teaches you to be a little bit more considerate of the words that you're actually writing in the first place. I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, if you've got, if somebody is mentally ill and they're generally mentally ill and they're having a bit of a nervous breakdown or something, they're the times when you don't want to be just saying anything and everything on the internet, because they're the people that are going to probably get the harsh end of the stick.
Yeah, but they're the people that need help, and they can be identified.
But what I'm saying is they're not in a headspace to be able to be considerate of what they're saying, because they're too, like literally you're like you say, you're in the wrong headspace. But actually, if you can understand this and then try and kind of, that could get me into serious trouble. It could be a way of being able to maybe help in some instances with mental health. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, they can have carers that look after them by taking them off the computer.
In a sense, yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is a bit too much at the moment. Maybe you need to come away from it because it's not doing your health any good being on the computer, on the internet all the time. Yeah.
Can I change the subject a bit? As interesting as that is, because I'm like flagging because it's like 11:30 at night here. I want to just really quickly talk about Vinex as well, and Robin Coze's companies. I say companies because it's sort of plural now. He's like a one-man corporation. It's insane, really. So he's got the Saturn Learn website, which I think I need to sit down and go through and take that course. Creates all these different tools and libraries, offers consulting services, so he's building websites left, right, and center, and web apps for people. What else? He's got the Relasia wallet, which is insanely good by the look of it, and there is a version of it that you can use for free. I'm really going to be looking into that this coming week because I think I need to use that. What else? He's got stars tokens now as well. When that can do container ship tracking, ownership certificates, logbooks, land deeds, and tracking with dynamic data. I mean, this is stars tokens are probably the most useful token because it's actual satoshis, isn't it? Rather than being a different layer. So that doesn't have the back to Genesis problem, basically, because they're satoshis, I think. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong about that. Another thing that he did, that he announced, which I just think is absolutely brilliant, it's just really, really useful, is WordPress plugins for BSV. So he's made like a perma-post plugin, which means presumably you can commit your blog to the BSV blockchain. You can mint NFTs plugin in WordPress, pay-per-view plugin, and a hybrid decom plugin. I don't know if that's maybe I don't know. I have to look into that. But awesome! Like he's absolutely killing it. We'll have him on the show soon, and he can tell us all about it properly.
Yeah, because I saw that there was a live streaming as well, something about live streaming. I'm not quite sure.
Well, that might be the decom. I don't know what it stands for. But I think he's terrific. I always love his talks. I just think he's wonderful. And he also is one of the guys behind the Block Dojo, isn't he? So he's got his finger in all the pies. Very smart guy. We've got so many smart people. I mean, it's a real pleasure to watch these conferences.
It is like mind-blowing. I've been just glued to it for 3 days. My little baby's been like, Mom, it's been great to be able to like watch it, from home and be cuddling her while I'm
I know.
Oh my gosh, my wheels are turning.
I wasn't sorry. I had missed all the plane flights and traveling and shit. Can I share my screen for a minute? Because I really want to show you this. I'm sure we've seen it, but I just think it's hilarious. So we're going to see it again.
Is this something with Craig?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So this is Calvin's 60th birthday party, and this was held in London, and Becky organised all of this for him. But yeah, Craig is so funny. He's hilarious, and he's such a cool dude dancer, not dad dancing.
Yeah. He's really good for it, isn't he?
He was obviously having a very, very good time.
He dances like nobody's looking. I don't know how much drink it takes for him to get to that point, but I don't think it's the drink in the world to get to me there.
What's the jacket? It's like a snooze jacket or something.
Smoking jacket.
Smoking jacket.
I think it was like oh God, what do you call it?
Themed party or whatever.
What's that from? I can't think, with the windmill in the background. Come on, people. It's too late at night for me to be trying to...
Moulin Rouge?
Moulin Rouge, yes.
It was Moulin Rouge. You're thinking about Moulin Rouge. Oh, was that the theme?
Yeah,
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, but that was just Kelvin's 60th birthday, wasn't it? So
yeah.
The
Awesome.
little
And-
speech they gave was hilarious.
yeah.
So I don't know about you guys, but I'm like flagging.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining
Hang on
us.
a minute, though. I want Casey to
Go
give
on.
us an update. That fantastic Hotmail ad. Tell us about it.
Yes.
Well, it's available for early access. Right now, it's just an email forwarding product and essentially just a paywall for email, something that I think a lot of people have wanted for a long time. And just stay tuned as we extend it over the next couple of years. It's going to evolve into that full vision of decentralized social media features. So that you can run on your own URL, and I'm very excited to just watch it grow. You can change that field and charge, a penny or any amount that you want as a contact fee. It's not just $1. So just go check it out. The affiliate system is live. So, there's a big incentive to get out there and start sharing
There's
that.
a huge incentive. Yeah, it was like a 20% referral fee, wasn't it?
Lifetime referral.
And so as the product evolves, there'll be more, opportunities to earn with that affiliate link, and that will actually become a protocol as well down the road that will change affiliate marketing and everything as we know it. So that's really exciting to be able to share that documentation with the community here soon.
Brilliant. But go and check out hotmail.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, hotmail.com. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Satoshi, for coming along and being the marvelous
The voice of reason.
Satoshi.
Well,
that you are.
I'll just add quickly there. It is currently 17.8% more profitable to mine on BTC, which means mining for BSV is becoming more competitive, which we would expect when demand increases. It's huge.
You lost me there a bit. What are you saying? It's you earn more by mining BTC, but isn't that mostly the case?
Well, yeah, but it's now 17.8% more profitable to mine on BTC. So why would you be mining on BSV? The only reason you'd be mining at a loss is if you really want it.
Okay, that's a really clever way of spinning that. Like, okay.
It's massive. I'm telling you, something is coming. Something is brewing. It's all in the figures.
You know that. But
Well, when's the halving? When's the next halving?
That's not for quite a while. Probably like a couple of years or something like that.
I think.
But
4 years?
it's every 210,000 blocks, so 3-4 years, something like that. But Craig has been Craig has been controlling the mining profitability for the last about 3 years to make sure that they're all pretty much of a muchness. So to see something like this happening is quite extraordinary.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. I mean, I'm always excited, but something's happening in the world, and it's pretty bloody big, that's for sure.
Well, we've got plenty of very big businesses that are doing amazing, huge things on BSV blockchain. So this time next year, when's the next Coingeek? The next Coingeek is going to be in London.
But it's not until next May, so we've got a year yet. So
by that time, things are going to have changed massively.
Yeah, this conference felt like a huge domino falling. Just this conference, everything they had compiled into it. It really, it has to have some major ripple effects on the other side of this. Just people being so educated about how much massive developments are actually occurring in this blockchain. I don't even know, Chao Wei. I can't wait to get him on and deep dive into that, because I think that's going to be the nail that really just.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Imagine everything flips over. Yeah.
Cool. That'd be good.
Can we play that ad again on the way out? Have we set up to do that?
Okay. Well, we will play our advert and then we'll say goodbye, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's Heartmail. Watch the Heartmail advert. Well, hey. So there
Love it.
will be a link in the description box below for Heartmail. Thank you guys for joining us. Do we want to say goodbye to everybody?
Yes.
Goodbye.
Like
Thanks,
and
guys.
See you later.
Bye.
Yeah. Please like, share, and subscribe.